Okay, so I now wanted to show you how to create and work with your solar returns. So you log back into your account, and you can see that by your name here, because otherwise you won't have your chart saved elsewhere. And then it takes you to the home page, and you go to extended chart selection as always. And so let's say you are the job logs, as that was the idea. So you select yourself there. So you have two people or however many you obviously select yourself. And then it's here that you decide, or rather you tell it that you want a solar return chart. Yeah, so it's solar return chart, right? Now this is where the birthday is important. So this birthday is 22nd of July. So my practice is, even though I don't think this is, you don't have to be so strict, but I stick with this. So that's how I'd like to teach you. 20th, you do just a date after your birthday. So to make sure that you are in the year of your solar return, it doesn't give you the current one if you're doing this like few months in advance. So anyway, you put the date and the year that you want your solar return chart for. So if you're born 22nd of July, as you are, then I put 23rd of July 2020. House system, we're still doing default, and then descending node and to Chiron. And that's that, and asteroids if you want, and click here to show chart. So this looks nothing like your natal chart. If you remember, you were Virgo rising and you had Sun and Mercury here and whatever else. So that's the whole point. The solar return chart is essentially your birthday new year. And it's particularly, I find them so helpful, like an add-on, like an extra understanding, like you get a sense of what bigger themes are going to be, or what themes are going to be particularly important this year, and that revolve around your sense of self, your identity, your life force, your creativity, your self-expression, who you are basically, and how you therefore show that to the world. So that's what the sun is about, and that's therefore what solar return is about. So how you're gonna, and who and where you're gonna identify the most with in the upcoming birthday year. So as you also will see, the actual birthday is yours, like it says here, 22nd of July, right? Your solar return is 21st of July, and this is the time, 1:43 p.m. What that is that solar return is essentially when the sun returns to its exact natal degree, to the second of the degree. That's your birthday, essentially. That's your solar birthday. That's your solar return. And it's rarely, again, on the same day as your actual birthday. So just don't be confused with that. And this is your time. So this is kind of like a new moon phase. So I always block this time out, not just the actual 1:43, but I'm lucky that I can take the whole day. In fact, I take 3 days, one before and one after, or two after, to really kind of, contemplate and come up with intentions essentially for the upcoming year. And because it's not exactly the new moon, I'm quite good at doing it just after this, like, within 12 hours of this, I would be, knuckling down and refining and fine-tuning my intentions. But always make them around who you are and your self-expression, and creative or not, however you consider creativity is just about self-expression. And all other things sun is. Now your sun is in Cancer, so that obviously changes what kind of self-expression nurtures you, etc. So that's kind of stuff you decide for yourself, as in you research, you study, come to my tutorials. So that's kind of that's the ritual, that's how you benefit. That's why solar return is important. And another thing too, mention here is that you want to be really casting this chart, like, drawing it, as in calculating it here and looking at it 3 months before the actual birthday. So if this is July, June, May, April, so like I would be 21st of April, I would be, so mid-April, I would actually create this chart and start looking at it and look at how your life is already starting to show signs that this solar return is going to be what it's going to be for you for the coming year. And so those 3 months you spend time percolating and digesting and planning of how you want to play the next birthday of yours. And I would then do the following birthday as well. I have in my house, I have about 10 years in advance already. Not that I planned that far ahead, but it's just nice sometimes to, I just love kind of having that peek at what are the themes, how they're going to be unfolding. So then the following year would be, so you know how to, so you kind of have a longer view basically, and maybe see some themes are going to be, particularly important, therefore if they're repeating themselves twice, or, same message, sent to you twice in different ways, but it's the same message, so that there's something about that to consider. But I also will be looking at previous year, the one you're still in, if you're doing it as I suggested, like in April, you're starting in April. So you're still in the current solar return, but you're wrapping it up. So see if there's anything that you've done in that year particularly that would actually be useful to bring into the following year in some form or another. So try to connect the dots, try to weave a story over those 3 solar returns. And then, like I say, given all that and with all that in mind, just, come up, that's how you write your intentions based on all this I just shared. Now, 3 things that are most important in solar return chart to look at and to get kind of really understand well is your sun. So your sun is always at the same degree, but it's not in the same house, and it certainly doesn't have the same aspects as it has natally. So you want to look at here, it's 9th house. So 9th house, so I would then research what 9th house means. Then I would say 9th house in Cancer. That's another area you want to understand as well. What does Cancer in 9th house mean? So those are the kind of areas for you where the sun or your life force, you're shining your light, being, your biggest, brightest, most, luminous self will be unfolding and will be best supported if you focus on that area. And then you look at the aspects of these, like there's a whole stellium of opposition to this sun. So that I would, think about that. What does that mean? What's the opposition? Opposition is how other people, we are made aware of our positions mostly by other people. So although that these are particularly going to be not necessarily easy to deal with, and almost pleasant possibly, although there could be super soul growth and expansion and opportunities and maturation and all the kind of good stuff of these 3. But if you're resisting it, then obviously it won't be pleasant. But my point is, when you have opposition to your sun, then keep an eye on and pay attention to what other people bring to you, and then figure out how you can actually, how's that benefiting you and how's that, supporting your growth. Any supportive aspects like blue lines or trines, so Neptune would be, a supportive aspect to this sun. Any squares that, I don't think your sun has squares now. So that would be challenges again, not necessarily from other people, but just things that, would be a bit crisis-like in the year. But again, just always look for ways to harness that to your benefit. So that's your sun. So sun is your first, where it is, in what house and what aspects it's making, particularly the ones that are not like natal, or if they are like natal, then that message is definitely important. Then you can take it further to then look at who's the ruler of your sun. So this is moon, because sun is in Cancer. So what planet rules Cancer? Moon. So that's how you know. If sun was in Gemini, then, or if you are a Gemini, then the ruler of your sun would be Mercury. So then you look at where Mercury is. So the same principle of the house where these things are and the aspects then, unfolds the story. But the second most important thing, in addition to sun ruler possibly, is the ascendant. So ascendants change, and that was most fascinating for me to watch that. That's just, yeah, that's just amazing, and super significant. And you will feel your new ascendant in your solar return year. So, and especially if it's different, sometimes it will be the same as yours, but far more rarely. Well, at least in my case, I actually don't think I've ever, since I've been tracking my solar returns, and that's 10 years back and 10 years forward. Anyway, but it could be just an anomaly, but yeah, you're more likely not to have your own natal ascendant. And that's what's exciting about these solar returns. It's just properly, putting on new clothes, completely revamping your wardrobe, renovating your house. That's what this is like about yourself and your life. So it's just wonderful. And then you look at the ruler of your ascendant. So three things: your sun, your ascendant, and the ruler of your ascendant. Yes, the ruler of your sun too, but then it's four things. Don't ever forget the ascendant and its ruler. So if it's Libra, what rules Libra? Venus. So you look where Venus is, and then it's the same thing: what house, what aspects, and that's it. And you have the same here. And yeah, like with any chart, I forgot to mention, you can just click on with transits. It gives you transits, which is not really that important for solar return at all, as this is a transiting chart in a sense anyway. But just so you know, if you click on without transits, it takes them, and then you click, takes them out. But when you look at your natal, that's where it's really good. You just click on that and it gives you the green ones on the outside are the transits. And again, here it says transits, and you can quickly cross-reference numbers as well. So that's that. So hopefully this was, I hope you will find them so useful, solar returns. They're just fantastic. So have fun with them is what I say.